Falcon fans, and of course, good old Atlanta Falcon fans. You already know what it is. You already know what to do. One time for the fan, man. We are back talking Falcons football in a good way. It's the off season. Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, Amazon Podcast. Man, we are everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. If you can't find One Time for the Fan, let us know. We will definitely put the podcast on there so we can get everybody involved, especially this offseason, especially this year when it comes to talking Atlanta Falcon fans. If you are on social media, on Facebook, head over to One Time for the Fan, hit that like, hit that share. If you're on Twitter, hit that retweet, repost. If you're on Instagram and you don't have us on there too as well, go ahead and follow us at One Time for the Fan on Instagram. Having a good day, man. We're talking offline. Big shout to T-Will, big shout to Kerry, big shout to Bodie, big shout to all the Falcon content creators out there in the Falcons universe. Talking offline about Kyle Pitts not too long ago. And sure enough, news comes out about Kyle Pitts now being franchise tagged or set to be franchise tagged by the Atlanta Falcons. And One Time for the Fan is here to talk about it. Chat is live. Chat is lit. Tell your Falcons friends. Tell your Falcons family that One Time for the Fan is live. Of course, you know it's always from the fan for the fan. And we got so many fans here in the chat. Go ahead and tag them. Go ahead and bring your people in here. You know how we like to do it here on the channel. Get everybody involved. I see somebody's hitting me up here on Twitter saying that there's something wrong with the Twitter podcast portion. So let's see here how we can get that worked out. They've been having a lot of trouble with StreamYard on Twitter. I see some people have sent some messages over to StreamYard. StreamYard once again messing everybody's podcast up, but it's all right. We'll be good today. Falcon fans, what's good, man? Don't know if T-Will be joining us. I believe he's busy at work. And of course, Miss Carrie is also busy herself. But just seeing everybody in the chat, y'all gonna help me out with the show today. So Falcon fans, if you're in here, help me out with the show today. Of course, you know, I usually have the co-host here with me. But some people was like, man, we need more One Time for the Fan, man. We need you to go live a lot more. And, you know, we got the Sunday night shows and the Wednesday night shows and the Friday morning shows, which we have missed in the past week due to work and other things. But I feel like this pop-up podcast will be good for everybody today. 1:39. So it's good for you all to sit back, relax, and talk some Atlanta Falcons with myself. Of course, the chat is locked in. AR Swish is in the chat saying locked in. Big shout to AR Swish. Smooth C is in the chat. Big shout to Smooth C. Repping One Time for the Fan, repping the Atlanta Falcons. One time for the one time. It's good to see you in here. AR Swish and Smooth C. 82. Monte Carlo is in the building too as well. The other team's mad as fuck. Love it. Big shout out to 82 Monte Carlo. I'm sure there was some people or some teams, some fans that wanted Kyle Pitts this offseason. It looks like they will not be getting them, and we'll get to that information in just a minute. We're going to put the banners on the screen so you guys know what we're talking about today too as well when it comes to the topics. And of course, we have the questions from the chat segment at the end. So I'm going to tell y'all now, just get the questions ready for the questions from the chat segment, which happens at the end of the show. Now, it's showing that it is live on Twitter, but for some strange reason, it's not showing up on the page. So maybe Twitter needs to get their ish together, or if not Twitter, then StreamYard definitely needs to get their ish together. Let me see if this works right here. Let me see if I can press this button. What does this do? Nope, that's not it. Press this right here. What does this do? Nope, that's not it. Man, we're gonna get it fixed out. We're gonna get it work. We're gonna get it taken care of. Don't even worry about it, Falcon fans. Stevie Correga's in the building, checking in from the West Coast. Big shout out to Stevie Correga with the rise up. Big shout out to you, sir. Charles West is in the building. What's up? One time. Big shout out to Charles West in the building. Smooth Seas in the chat said, Jack got the news from me an hour ago. Needed to clean up from raking up some Smooth Sea. Here we go with the jokes. Here we go already. Smooth C said, need to clean up from raking up some leaves in my yard. Sorry, everyone, for this lateness. Big shout out to Smooth C, talking Falcons football. Archangel, man, good to see you back here talking Falcons football with us. Archangel, man, big time supporter of One Time for the Fan. Good friend of mine, too, as well. Shout out to you, Jabri, man. He said, let's effing go one time for Kyle Pitts, man. We about to get to that, too, as well. Archangel says one time for Mr. Jack Spade and the rest of the crew too as well, who is not here. So big shout out to them. Jeff Wolf said no T Will. Well, shit, with the smiley face emoji. T Will's the homie, man. That's my big bro, man. Big shout out to T Will. Archangel says happy about keeping Kyle. And Jeff Wolf also said you go on as soon as I go to lunch. So hey, Jeff Wolf, man, you might want to put that sandwich down, man. I want to put that Chipotle down, bro. We're talking some Falcons football here. And it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a quick show too as well. Shouldn't keep y'all here for no 2 or 3 hours or no 4 hours. We ain't going to do that today. But we do got some stuff to talk about. And let's get straight to it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful day here as a Falcon fan. And I'm going to tell y'all why. I'm going to show y'all why right now. Where we get to it. Let me get to it. Hopefully StreamYard doesn't StreamYard out on us once I load this up. I'm sure you all can probably see this once it pops up in just a second here. Bam! There it is. We have some updates. We have some interesting news here for you Falcon fans. Jeff Wolf said he's eating a Costco glizzy. You eating the glizzy from Costco at 1:43 in the afternoon? That's diabolical right there. That's nasty work right there, Jeff Wolf. Big shout out to Jeff Wolf in the chat. Smooth C said, how does this draft shape up? Or how does this shape up for the draft? Where are we going? Or do we need to see some more? Before we get into the Kyle Pitts question and the Kyle Pitts, topic right here, I think this shapes up for the draft that you are getting ready and prepared to definitely do what Ian Cunningham mentioned, and that is attack the trenches. Kyle Part is not a part of the trenches. So I'll be looking at, some outside linebackers. I'll be looking at some defensive ends. I'll be looking at some defensive tackles. I'll be looking at some players that can definitely change, what we do on defense if we lose some players. And of course, the offensive line, we got to beef it up a little bit. Watch me beef it up. Watch me funk it out. We got to beef up that offensive line a little bit. Don't know if Bergeron and New Zeal will be the long-term fit here. I am not a member of the Atlanta Falcons organization. Of course, fans have been speaking about what possibly could be done here in the offseason. Definitely need some depth. That's the biggest thing. Every NFL team is going through this same format right now. They're looking at their roster. They're looking at things they need to do to get better. And of course, beefing up the offensive line, bulking up the defensive line is something that's very, very important for all teams. I think a new defensive tackle, a new guy in the middle, alongside Rook and wherever they're going to put Dorless and however they're going to probably look at Lakel London too as well. Maybe Katavius Street could be a guy that can also get fitted here long-term here with the Atlanta Falcons. Big shout out to everybody that's joining in too as well. I also want to give a big shout out to everybody that tuned in to the show last week with Berto and Bro Talk reporting eligible. There was some StreamYard delays going on my end. I got to give a big thank you to T Will, who's an amazing podcaster, for holding it down for me as best as he could, due to the fact that I was having some latency issues, some bandwidth issues due to the StreamYard messing up. And of course, that played in a major effect on the interview, the update of our podcast we had with Bro Talk and Berto. But Bro Talk and Berto, an outstanding, phenomenal job. Those two brothers right there continue to raise the bar in the Falcons community amongst content creators when it comes to talking Falcons. I'm sure they're probably talking Kyle Pitts information and news right now. Reached out to Berto this morning. Big shout out to Berto, man. Hope you're safe and warm up there. They're dealing with a blizzard out there where Berto is in Rhode Island. So if anybody reaches out to Berto, man, definitely give him your best wishes, man. Hopefully everything is well up there, because that blizzard. We don't get that down here in Georgia too often. So I told Berto, man, I want to pack it up and just move to Atlanta, bro. You might want to just come down here to the city, man, because you can't be dealing with that type of weather at the end of February, man. Look what we got right now. What is it? It's like 40 something, 50 something degrees, I think, outside here in Atlanta. And still the sun is out. Beautiful day. But how does this shape up for the draft? I think we definitely attack the trenches a lot more. And of course, we do have some updates on some potential, draft picks that I think the Falcons could be looking at. We'll talk about that on Wednesday night because the combine is about to get underway. I'm sure Ian, who's done a decent job attacking the combine with his previous teams that he's been on, is going to be up there ready to go. And there's a lot of names that content creators and people have put out already that I think fans are really excited about to possibly get here in Atlanta. So far, Ian's doing a great job. Matt Ryan's doing a great job when it comes to dealing with some off-season situations. And of course, the Kyle Pitts news has fans feeling really, really good right now about having him back in the A. But we do want to get your thoughts, everybody who's here in the chat. We're going to get to the fans in the stands because you guys are doing an amazing job too as well, talking Atlanta Falcons football with me this afternoon. Let's get straight to it, man. Falcons set to franchise tag Kyle Pitts. What is your thoughts? Now, I do want to catch up to the chat. Don't want to get too far behind here. So I got to catch up to the chat so that way we could be ready to continue on with this topic here. Also, the Braves, I know it's spring training right now. Braves leading the Baltimore Orioles 2-0 in the bottom of the third. So shout out to all you Atlanta Braves fans. The Hawks with a big win yesterday over the Brooklyn Nets. They're set to battle, I believe, against the Washington Wizards back-to-back coming up this week too as well. Charles West said, I can be here for 4 hours. Falcons football is more important than electrical work. Well, look at Charles West, man. You're over there taking care of your work, man, doing your job, man, getting your money, but you're in here talking Falcons football with us. And big shout out to you, Charles, man. Thank you for showing up this afternoon to talk Falcons football with a lot of these diehard Atlanta Falcon fans. And there's so many more diehard Atlanta Falcon fans that, are probably at work and taking care of their family and doing some personal things. So big shout out to them. Just be ready for this offseason, Charles. I'm telling you, something about this offseason is already gearing me up. It's showing me that we're probably going to make the playoffs. We're probably going to win the division. And I'm more on the side of 75% and over. In the past, of course, it's always been, hey, we need to get this guy. We need to make the right moves and this, that, and the third. I think the coaching staff that is gearing up to do work, Matt Ryan in the office, Ian Cunningham in the office, is going to set us up for some big things here in Atlanta. Big shout out to you, Charles West. Big shout out to the chat. Edge Wise is in the chat. Big shout out to Edge Wise. Best thing to do because Bijan will be getting paid soon. I've said it before and I say it again, man. You see that Saquon Barkley is about to get paid. Oh, not Saquon Barkley. Jahmyr Gibbs is about to get paid. Does that reset the market? We will be soon to find out when free agency and, of course, all these start of the NFL season updates start coming out. Bijan is getting ready to get paid real soon, and I think you might want to make him probably the highest paid running back in Falcons history. I mean, we've never seen a running back here in Atlanta like Bijan Robinson. Shout out to Freeman and shout out to Coleman and shout out to Michael DeBurner Turner. Shout out to everybody who is Warwick Dunn and everybody who's been here in Atlanta. But we have never seen a Bijan Robinson here in Atlanta. So big shout out to Bijan. Edge Wise said, Panthers fan and football junkie. Hey, big shout out to Edge Wise in the chat talking Falcons football with us today. Jeff Wolf said D-line and O-line. I know he's preparing for the draft and the combine. Hucklebuck is in the chat. Hucklebuck said, I think they are franchise tagging Kyle with the intent of trying to trade him to possibly pick up additional draft picks. Wow, that could be something interesting too as well. I mean, are they set? Are they fit? Are the Falcons ready to go and tackle this draft with 5 draft picks? Now, here's the thing, right? Ian Cunningham is not like Terry Fontenot, right? In a sense, I'm saying that to say Terry has traded up before as a GM. And you heard Ian saying that, they had a small amount of picks in the past with the Bears that ended up with like 8, 9, 10 picks. For me, and I've done this before on Madden, right? I've done this before, of course, that's just a video game, but I'm sure it does happen in real life too, as well, when you're looking at your second round pick at 44, 45. And if you can get a candidate, if you can find somebody who wants to move from 55 or 57 or 61, wants to move up to that 40 something spot, they got to give up something, right? They got to give us something that we want so we can get back something in the end that can help us out. Either it's a future conditional pick a year from now, or even in the 2028 draft or something like that. But if you're going to attack it now, if there's a bunch of players that you can get third, fourth round that could be on the field, and let's not forget, Falcon fans, we have played a lot of our third, fourth, and fifth rounders on the field here in Atlanta, and a lot of them have turned out to be pretty decent. So if Ian Cunningham can look and say, look, I got this guy, man, out of Sarah. I got this guy out of Nebraska. I got this guy out of Oklahoma. I know this guy out of Notre Dame that can come in here and be a smooth fit for the Atlanta Falcons in the fourth round. We need to get that extra fourth. You trade back from that second round pick, 5 spots, 8 spots, 10 spots, pick up an additional third, pick up an additional fourth. Now you're sitting on 6 picks, right? Now you're sitting on something that you can go off and say, we can get an extra guy, an extra able body to do something for this team. Because I think Ian's strategy, and fans have pointed it out, I'm not the only one. I think Ian's strategy is to trade back, whether it's in the second or the third, because when you're trading back, somebody wants to move up, it's not a 1-for-1, right? It's not going to be that, oh, you're going to take my pick at 47. I'm going to take your pick at 55. We shake hands and call it a day. No, 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 no. And we've also seen in the war room when it comes to draft day and draft night, day 2 and day 3, the phones are ringing, right? Minnesota might want to move up, right? Who's to say that there's a quarterback in the second round that the Jets want and they want to jump back in and get some and get active? And that's where they say, hey, the Falcons might be looking to take one of our 4th round picks, one of our 5th round picks. Next thing you know, we end up, I'm just going to call this out. I don't think we just end up using the 5 picks we have in the draft. I think we're going to end up with about 7 or 8. And these are going to be guys who's going to come in here and compete, who's going to come in here and raise awareness for the Falcons fan base. Like, hey, that guy, that was a steal in the draft. We did it before with Terry moving up. Let's see if Ian can do it moving back. Trading Kyle Pitts, after hearing Kyle speak on that podcast a month or so ago about working with Kevin Stefanski, knowing Kevin Stefanski's knowledge of dealing with tight ends, how he used to be a tight ends coach, how he used Njoku and the other tight end in Cleveland too as well. And then you gotta like what Country would say, big shout out Big Old Country, a young Thundercat such as Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts is, I'm gonna throw it out there, he's a solid player, right? You can work Kyle in different schemes. You got to scheme him up. And we're going to talk more about Kyle Pitts right now, but you got to scheme him up the right way so you can get Kyle Pitts the ball and move the chains a lot more. Because if you're looking at the weapons on offense right now, we don't have a wide receiver 2 if Mooney goes. Wide receiver 3, who knows what they're going to do with Hodge and Blair and Casey Washington, some of these other guys. So right now, Kyle Pitts is a weapon. And if you can scheme him up, Tommy Reese, if you can scheme him up, Kevin Stefanski, then we got something going here. So big shout out to Hucklebuck in the chat. Eric Z said, woohoo, we tag Pitts. We can't re-sign him, and we are not competitive, then trade him. Now, the trade talks will be coming in play too as well. I think you guys are seeing it on the screen here. Ian Rappaport reporting the Falcons are planning to franchise tag standout tight end Kyle Pitts, sources say, keeping their playmaker in the fold on a 1-year, fully guaranteed deal worth more than $15 million. The hope is to work out a long-term deal rather than the tag. And the two sides have until July to get this done. And if you look at the free agency market too, as well, across the league, it is similar to the quarterback market across the league. It's tough. Now I know they run this personnel. Kevin Stefanski likes to run these three tight end sets, possibly get back a fullback in Atlanta. I know we said rest in peace to the fullback situation here in Atlanta because we haven't seen it in a couple years, but that does open the door for a Charlie Warner extension, right? Is Tegan Quentin Tantano, I think his name is he going to be an option here? Do they look to get another tight end in the draft? Is Joshua Simon going to be an option? And I think with Kyle Pitts right now set to be tagged, he's a young player in the NFL. This guy's not going into his 30s anytime soon. So if you can get the best out of Kyle Pitts now, that might work. And like I said, Falcon fans, we need weapons out there. We need somebody to move the chains, right? We have Drake London. We have Bijan. We're going to add to that. But Kyle Pitts does, I think, as a Falcon fan, Kyle Pitts does put a little bit of fear in some of those teams, especially the Bucs. The Bucs know it. Hey, that dude right there, he might go off on 3-4 touchdowns today. He might go off on a $125 today. He might go off on 11 receptions today. Kyle Pitts has had his moments, and I totally understand what Falcon fans are saying here about Kyle Pitts' usage and how the Falcons had him over the past couple of years. But let's not forget, Kyle Pitts has went through different offensive coordinators since he's been here. Kyle Pitts has went through 5-6 quarterbacks since he's been here. Different head coaches since he's been here, right? He hasn't had that Kelsey moment dealing with Andy Reid or that Kittle moment dealing with Kyle Shanahan. They're going through coaches and different members of the staff like cookies, man. And maybe this is a moment that Matt Ryan sees it, who Matt Ryan played with Kyle Pitts. Gave Kyle Pitts, I think, one of his best seasons for 68 receptions for over 1,000 yards, 1 TD that season. But some of us was also kind of shaky when we drafted Kyle Pitts. Why we used the 4th overall pick on a guy like Kyle Pitts. I think we could possibly see that. Falcon fans, we could possibly see that. Archangel said, build through the trenches. Big shout out to Archangel here. Everybody's on the Ian Cunningham train of building through the trenches right now. Charles West said, since Kyle is tagged, is a zero tech DT realistic for a 2nd round pick? Some would argue that you need a cornerback. If you get that in the 2nd round, will Falcon fans be happy? Some would argue that you need a wide receiver too. Now, I know Drake London's payday is coming up as well. But what is on your draft board right now, Charles West? Archangel, Smooth C, what is on your draft board? Because the Falcons got their board right here, and it's not going to be 1 or 2 or 3 players. It's going to be about 50 to 100 players, right? And players go off the board where you got to cross them out. You got to circle them. They're moving up in the combine. They're moving back in the combine. Tommy Reese is getting involved. Matt Ryan's saying, of course, when he spoke to the media not too long ago, this is going to be his first draft where he sits in the boardroom. He's been a guy that's been sitting in the locker room waiting on players to join the Falcons so he can say, hey, welcome to the Falcons. Let's go out there and do some work. Right, Falcon fans? And this is going to be a great opportunity, I think, for Ian Cunningham to get after it. I see T. Will just hit me up. I think he wants to join in here in just a minute. He said he just woke up. T. Will's been working and grinding all day, man, especially all weekend. So let me go ahead and shoot this link here to T. Will so we can get him in the podcast to talk some Falcons football with us. I'm sure he has a lot to say about the Kyle Pitts franchise tagging. So build your own draft board. We're going to do some mocks here too as well. We're going to get everybody involved. One time for the fan loves to include everyone when it comes to one time for the fan and Falcons football. So we're going to do a lot of mock drafts here over the next couple of weeks. We're going to talk a lot of drafts. We're going to talk a lot of combine. We're going to talk a lot of off-season moves. But build your draft board. For me, the Falcons can go either route and I will be happy, right? You can go get that defensive tackle in the second round, right? You can go get that cornerback in the second round. You can get that wide receiver in the second round. Out even a linebacker in the second round too as well. You got Dede who's going to be on his last year coming here too as well. You got a lot of players that possibly could be leaving the building too as well that I think Falcon fans are gearing up for. And when you lose players, you got to add players. Every NFL team is getting ready to do it. I think the talk of Brailing Trice is starting to come back around for Falcon fans of what can Brailing Trice do if he is healthy and back out there on the field? Does D'Angelo Malone get another shot too as well to be back out here on the field? Will they resign Caden Ellis? A lot of those free agency offseason moves that happens before the draft, I think will prepare us for what we're getting ready to do on draft day. If they go out and they just do all these offseason moves and Trice is going to be back and JPJ is going to be in the building and Caden Ellis is going to be here and they go out and they resign D. Alford and they go out and they probably bring back CJ Henderson, then you're probably looking at, damn, they finna go defensive line in the draft. Or they're probably going to go center in the draft. Maybe if we get the center from the Ravens too as well in the offseason, that kind of helps you build up the trenches. But what they do in free agency, I think is going to prepare us for what is the missing piece that the Falcons need, not to get to the playoffs, not to win the division. What is the missing piece to rebuild this roster in ways that I think Falcon fans know we need this player, we need this position. If they go out and sign a running back in the second round, it's like, whoa, that's something to be shocked about because Bijan is going to his payday. Tyler Algier possibly could be out the door. We don't want Tyler to leave, but possibly could be out the door. But that's a shocker right there. What if they draft a fullback? That's a shocker right there. What if they draft a tight end? That's a shocker right there. I think a tackle could be in play when it comes to the second round. Archangel's in the building too as well. Says keep Caden Ellis also and find out what we have in Braylon Trice. Jeff Wolf said needed a big nasty in the middle of the line. That is something to watch for too as well. Jeff Wolf is here talking Falcons football with us. Isaiah Coach is in the building, says 1998 Falcons. Big shout out to Isaiah Wolf in the chat. Hucklebuck is here. I think they are franchise and tag. Oh, they got read that comment already. Big shout out to Hucklebuck. Who's this? It's Marazi. Razi's in the chat. Good afternoon, crew in chat. Big shout out to Razi in the chat talking Falcons football with us. We're just talking about Kyle Pitts and just the Falcon fans' thoughts of what they think about the tagging. Dwayne Ruffin is in here one time for the one time. The West Coast crew is awake. They're here talking Falcons football with us. Big shout out to Quentin Lavender with the what up one time. Big shout out to Quentin Lavender. Eric Parker, the Parlay King, is in the chat talking Falcons. Now, Eric, I ain't going to want to tell you. I hit my parlay this morning. I ain't posted. You better go get baby girl. You better go tag Sade. Hey, I ain't posted. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I hit my parlay this morning. Hey, just saying. Everybody's in the chat talking Falcons football in a Falcon way. Big shout out to you all. It's great. In fact, let me get T-Will in here. I know I sent the link to myself here. I'm going to get T-Will involved, see what he has to say. Falcon fans, don't forget, we're going to do our questions from the chat segment at the end of the podcast. So please gear those questions up so we can talk some Falcons football. What is this? Falcons. Oh, the PSLs. What is this? PSLs? Okay, okay, cool. I got that. I got that. All right, I got this. T Will, where you at? T Will, where you at? T Will, let me put this here in the chat. T Will should be joining us here in a minute. Eric Z says, "Great day to work from home." It is a great day, man. It's a beautiful day, especially living in Atlanta, man. Feel real good about it. Um, Charles West said, "As a season ticket holder, I would love to get that email from the Ben saying playoff tickets is coming out of my account." Now, here's the funny thing, Charles West. A couple years ago, you might remember this. They did send that email. They try to lock in the playoff tickets around week 14, 15. So that way, if we do get to the playoffs, they don't have to do it like an on demand thing. So I remember getting that email. I think it was the season where we had, I think it was the Desmond Ritter season? I think it was where we had to wait to find out if this team would lose week 16 and we win week 17. The Panthers were playing the Bucks. We were playing the Saints. And I remember getting that email like, "Oh, okay, Falcons. There is a 2% chance that we make the playoffs." And I see the season ticket reps are getting ready to, gear up to get us some playoff spots. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. I do think it happens this year. Kevin Stefanski's coaching knowledge, of course, with Alex Van Pelt and Tommy Rees and Matt Ryan in the front office. Matt Ryan came here to win, y'all. Right? The Falcons brought Matt Ryan in for a reason. He did everything he could as a player to get us to that Super Bowl, to get us to the next level. And now he's in the front office as an executive. So I think Matt Ryan knows what he's getting ready to do. And I just can't wait for it. 82 Money Caller says our team has a winning recipe as is. That is right, man. That is right. Hucklebuck said to Ian, draft picks are currency. I think he is looking to add 2 to 4 draft picks, right? Looking to build through the trenches. Music to my ears as a long suffering Falcon fan. So you got to get the right pieces too. You know what I'm saying? I think Ian Cunningham is already doing a fantastic job, like I mentioned before. Kyle Pitts news was something that we were waiting on for a while now, right? I think the Tyler Algier news could be something too as well. We're waiting on. I think the Caden Ellis news. These are off-season moves that a GM and his executive crew has to make, so that way fans know that they feel good about a Monday afternoon, February 23rd. It lets you know that they're working behind the scenes. And I'm truly, truly grateful to have somebody like Ian Cunningham in the building to work with Matt Ryan, because this is going to be an amazing season, right? This is going to be something that I think everybody's going to feel really good about. Josh is in the building too as well. So I feel much better going into this draft than previous years. That's for sure. Hey, a new GM, a new head coach, a new president of football operations. Don't forget, we got this guy named Bob Quinn too as well. I think he's the senior advisor to Kevin Stefanski, who has what 4 Super Bowl rings as an administrator on the Patriots staff. Comes over here too as well. Of course, he's been with the Detroit Lions and the Patriots in the past, and now he gets an opportunity to bring his knowledge to help out a young Matt Ryan who's in the front office. And it's good to have people around you that have the knowledge of the game, because it helps you out in so many ways. That's why we have somebody like Kerry on One Time for the Fan. Because when it comes to talking Falcons football, you need you a Kerry around you. So big shout out to Kerry who's here talking Falcons football. Kerry, how is everything going with you? I know you've been a little bit under the weather. Welcome back, Miss Kerry, not only to the podcast, but back to the Falcons community. Kerry, how's everything?
Hey Jack, how you doing?
I am doing great. We are talking a little bit about Kyle Pitts and the franchise tagging, and just
Nice.
giving our thoughts and our high praise to the Falcons front office for getting some work done behind the scenes. Because we've been sitting here the past couple of days like, well, we don't get no news. Ain't nobody gonna tell us nothing.
Mm.
But now we get something. But Carrie, how are you doing? How's everything?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm on the mend. I had the flu and I've been really very sick. So I've been kind of MIA, but I'm doing a lot better. So thanks for asking.
That's so great. That's so great that Carrie is here Carrie, since you've had the flu, we haven't even been live in the past week. So the last podcast we had was with Berto and Bro Talk. So this is a pretty interesting day to go back live, and it's crazy because
Mm.
Carrie, you saw in the chat, I was planning to go live before the Falcons dropped that news, and now that they
Right.
did drop the news, we got something to talk about. So, Carrie, your thoughts? Kyle Pitts franchise tag from the Falcons. I guess I'll be playing in the golf tournament this year with Kyle. So,
Okay.
uh, what's your thoughts there on that, Carrie?
Um, I think it's 100% the right move to make because for one, you don't really have a lot of weapons in this moment, in your receiver room. So you don't want to lose a weapon, a guy who's really coming into his prime because he got drafted very young. So yes, it's been 55 years, but he's actually young. I believe he's 26 years old, so he's still young. And either way, I think this was the best move to make because even if he isn't here for the long haul, like if they don't work out a long-term deal, at least you could, you know, get something for him. You're not
Mhm.
just letting him walk for free, a guy that you drafted fourth overall. So I think this is the right move either way. You make a deal or you don't, but I did read from Rap Sheet that the hope is that they do come to a long-term deal before July. So, yeah, I'm happy with the move, and I think the tag is like $15 million. So I think, considering the price of how much a wide receiver makes it currently in this market, I think it's a great move. But I'm interested to see if they do work out a long-term deal before July, what that deal will look like. Um, but I do think this is a big sign that they want to work out a long-term deal. The fact that they tag him because the Falcons have only ever used the franchise tag 4 times in the history of the Falcons. So that's very telling, in my opinion.
That is definitely right. Big shout out to Carrie. Carrie, I just sent you the link to the chat. Remember we were talking about Twitter and StreamYard, how they're having some issues? Check
Yeah.
the one time for the fan chat. See if that works for you right there. When you click on it, I don't want to click on this. I go live here, but see if you can put that out. I don't know if that's gonna
Okay. All right.
gonna
Let me
work
check it
right
out.
there, but
Thank you.
Falcon fans that's here talking Falcons football. Carrie, who's taking the time out of her day, out of her work schedule, and she's trying to get back to 100% here to enjoy a great Falcons conversation amongst all of us. Josh, AR Swish, Archangel, Jeff Wolf, Smooth C, Hucklebuck. I see Hucklebuck saying we got to add more wide receivers. AR Swish, I see the question you got right there, AR Swish. When we do the questions from the chat, AR Swish, if you can bring that question back about the Falcons, this one right here, when we do the questions from the chat segment, if you could bring that one back, I just want to roll through the comments. We love to include everybody here on One Time for the Fan. But when we do our questions from the chat segment, that'll be a great question that we can answer. So I definitely want to get to that. I want to just get everybody involved here on One Time for the Fan. The chat is live, chat is lit, and it's going to be a great show here this afternoon. I've missed y'all for the past couple days now, and I'm sure T Will has missed y'all. I'm sure Kerry has missed y'all. That's why there's so many great Falcon content creators amongst this space. So if you don't catch One Time for the Fan, you can go catch a Big Low Country, right? You can go catch a reporting eligible with Berto and Bro Talk, right? You can go catch Maggie T and them when they're talking with the Ladybirds and so on, and Uncle Steve and everybody, and even all the content creators that we've had on the podcast this year with Tidy, first time being on the show, Maggie T, first time, Uncle Steve's first time being on here. It's just great that we can all interact and talk Falcons football in a Falcons way, because this is going to be an interesting season for the Falcons fan. Another content creator that we definitely have to get here to the podcast is this brother right here, On the Mark. If you haven't heard his content, if you haven't been over to his channel, this brother can talk some Falcons football. Now, hey, Mark, I know you in here, man. I gotta give you the shout out, but I also got to extend the invitation to you, brother. We'd love to have you on One Time for the Fan coming up this off season. We have a lot that we're working on the podcast and away from the podcast, but I'm sure if you can get some time on your schedule to join us, we will definitely open up our schedule so you can join us too as well, and talk some Falcons football. I see a lot of people in the chat here going in on Dorless. Say Dorless is going to be a star. Dorless is definitely already a star in the making, so it's going to be great to have a player like him back at 100% too as well. And you know, it's good to have a guy who's going into his third year here with the amount of production he's put on the field already. And I know he has suffered that tough injury towards the end of the season, but if you get Dorless back to anywhere where he was last year, oh, it's going down in a major way. Big shout out to Rozzy in the chat. Didn't Ian say best player available? Same philosophy Fontenot had. You know, it's funny, Kerry. When they say best player available, are we looking at every NFL team kind of says that? Because you do want to try to get the best player that's available
Right.
to fit your team. I mean, I think the Jets are looking for their best player. I think the Raiders are looking for the best quarterback that's available, right? They're
Right.
not going to go to the guy from Vanderbilt or the kid from LSU when Fernando Mendoza is sitting right there. So every team has their philosophy format when it comes to best player available. It's to who fits the system, who fits the scheme, because it's not going to be one draft pick this year. There's going to be 5, 6, 7 draft picks for the Atlanta Falcons. Those are the best players that I think that they see available. Kerry, am I right or wrong? Am I along the same lines of what you're thinking?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I wouldn't read too much into like the whole best player available. Um, I would agree with you that most teams have that same philosophy because you're gonna get yourself in big trouble if you're gonna go ahead and just reach on a player based off need. So say for example, you have the 20th overall pick in the draft, um, and you really need a wide receiver, but there's really not no good ones left. But you know, as far as 1 through 19 goes, you know, they all the ones that were ranked very high are picked. Maybe the 1, 2, 3 already been taken off the board, but then you have the best cornerback still available. Are you going to take the fourth ranked wide receiver? Or are you going to take the best ranked cornerback coming out of college? You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. It's more so like you don't want to just reach based off of what your team needs. I think you want to grab that, you know, talent that you really believe in and that you think is going to be, you know, become an all pro player that's going to be with your franchise for many years to come, and hope to fill needs, you know, maybe through um free agency, undrafted free agents, you know, things like that. But yeah, I think especially for higher round draft picks, you need to go based off of best player available, not necessarily your needs.
Right. And it's very important here. I got some more news here. Remember when Kyle Pitts was on the podcast with Jordan Schultz and Draymond Green? Interesting combo to have a podcast with Jordan Schultz and Draymond Green. Kyle said to Jordan Schultz and Draymond, these are Kyle words, that it would be dope to be back in Atlanta playing for Kevin Stefanski.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
Kyle said out of his mouth
right.
when he was on the podcast about a month or so ago. How he spoke to other players who's played with Kevin Stefanski, knows what role he could be in with the Kevin Stefanski. And now you have Kyle Pitts getting tagged or set to be tagged by the Atlanta Falcons. I think a deal does work out where you don't want that number 4 overall pick to go to waste. And you know a team will take Kyle Pitts from here and send him here, and you're going to have Falcon fans, oh, man, we could have did that. Oh, man, we should have did that. That would have been us with Kyle. Kyle can get that. You just have to scheme him up the right way. You got to put him in a good position for Kyle to be great. We've seen Kyle against the Bucs. Let's not forget about Kyle's first year here in Atlanta.
But my thing is, Jack, I'm just really looking forward to having a coach in Kevin Stefanski that loves to use tight ends and knows how to use them well and to the best of their abilities. I think he's probably really excited to keep Kyle Pitts because of his potential, and that I fully believe hasn't been completely unlocked yet. And I think like to your point, we haven't always used Kyle Pitts to the best of his abilities. We haven't
Right.
always put him in the best position to win. Like he should be a vertical threat. He should be a red zone threat. We should be using him way more often in the red zone. And I mean, even last season there'd be games where he's only getting like 4 or 5 targets a game. And for me, it's like in my opinion, he should be used way more often, and I do think that under Kevin Stefanski, that would definitely be possible, and that would
I
happen.
think it's more than possible when you're dealing with Kevin Stefanski, who's coached tight ends before too as well. You got UC in the chat say KP should be a receiver. He's a tight end. He's a receiver in a tight end's body kind of way. Or you can flip it back and say the other way because Kyle has been playing tight end since he's been at Florida. And he's done a great job, I think, of doing the best he can with what was with him. He had Taylor Heineke. He had Marcus Mariota. He had Matt Ryan at the end of Matt Ryan's career. He had Desmond Ritter. He had
I
Kirk
mean,
Cousins,
to your
Michael
point, yeah,
Penix. Yeah,
to to your point, yeah, I think he's had what 6 quarterbacks in 5 seasons, which
right.
I think some people will argue with you, like, oh, look at Brock Bowers, what he did when he didn't have a good quarterback. But my thing about it is quarterback definitely makes a difference if a player, as far as like a receiver, tight end goes, like you're depending upon good quarterback play for your position group, for you to be able to obviously get those stats that, touchdowns, receiving yards, what have you. But my thing is like, you saw it even with Drake London. I mean, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, they like the first like what probably 2 years when he was playing with Desmond Ritter as his quarterback, there was constantly people saying that he was the third best wide receiver out of those three in that draft class. And it's like, wow, you finally, even last season, you see him with like competent quarterback play, and you really saw the potential that he has. That he can be a top 5 wide receiver with competent quarterback play. So
And
it
we
does
had
definitely
Matt
does
Ryan
matter.
at the end of his career getting him over 1,000. He almost hit 1,000 last year with two different quarterbacks. Falcon fans, we got something here in Kyle Pitts that I think we just need to just sit back and see how this offense is going to shape up this year. The Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts connection, for those that do not know, they are really good friends off the field, right? Pitts and Penix playing golf together, hanging out off the field. A lot of times in the NFL, a lot of players kind of go their own way. They might have, excuse me, they might have one or two people that they hang out with. They don't really hang out with, the offensive line every other weekend or hang out with their kickers and long snappers every other weekend. But Kerry, you've probably seen it, or fans, you've probably seen it because we pay attention to social media. Pitts and Penix hang out. They're cool like that. Like the other day, they were playing golf not too long ago. Now, I don't know if Penix was out there playing due to the injury. Hopefully he
I
was. That means he's getting better.
I don't mean to change the subject, but it's kind of the same subject. I saw Tyler Algier and Bijan playing golf together. I didn't know. I knew Bijan played a little, but I didn't know Tyler too. I was like, okay.
I'm going to have to make a
It was
phone call.
golf.
Bijan Robinson playing golf?
Yes, Bijan and Tyler were playing together with one of their buddies. It was three of them
What?
playing in Hawaii. Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
got the
right.
video.
Bijan was in Hawaii. When I saw that video
Mhm.
that he posted, I said, that
Mm.
that valley, that hill that they're on, that they was overlooking the ocean, that looks like one of those sceneries like you'll be standing on a golf course and seeing. I
Yep,
thought
sure
about it,
did.
but now that you just mentioned that, that's what's up. Golf is something that takes you away from whatever other sport you're playing, but it locks you in mentally on a different level. You know how I am with golf, Kerry. I love golf.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think if I was playing back in high school, if I was playing even after high school, I might be on CBS right now. I might be on the tour.
Oh,
I might be
okay.
at the Genesis Invitational with Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy because I've gotten really good at golf to a
Okay.
level of I want to go compete in some tournaments, in some money scrambles, playing in anything I can get to. Like my friend said the other day, hey man, if we can make it to the senior PGA tour 15 years from now, that'd be even great too as well. And it's like, man, you're saying something right now to me, man. I told my boy Keith, I was like, you're saying what I want to hear because golf is a sport, man. It's you, it's
Right.
the environment, it's the it's you and the club and the ball. Sometimes you're by yourself, sometimes you're with your crew, sometimes you're out there, you got the music playing, and it's just real quiet. It's just real. You can get away from what you were doing during the morning of cleaning up or the family or you got bills to pay and all this other stuff. But as soon as you get on that golf course, it's just you and golf. So to see that Bijan is playing it, to see that Tyler is playing it, to see that Michael Penix is playing it, Kyle Pitts is playing it too as well. I remember when Michael Penix, Kerry, remember this? I remember when Michael Penix posted on his page like last year, hey, I'm trying to play some golf. Somebody point me in the right direction. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
A year later, he's out there with Kyle playing 18 holes. So big shout out to Michael Penix. Big shout out to everybody who does get involved with golf too as well. And of course, we have my caddy in the building. Big shout out to my caddy. I didn't pay him the other day. So I think he's kind of upset. Craig is here. He said, we definitely don't need Jack playing golf with Bijan and Tyler. He would cause them to leave. Big shout out to Craig, my caddy
Sheesh.
in the building, already bringing the drama, already bringing the smack talk, man. I get it. I know where you at with this one, Craig. Craig, what are your thoughts on Kyle Pitts, man? Let's get to some Falcons football. 82 Money Caller says Zach wasn't even scheming for him either, unless it was like a third option. Yeah, Zach would use Bijan. Zach would look at Drake. Zach would even look at Mooney. Hell, Zach sometimes would even look at Dylan Drummond and say, okay, you're going to catch the ball right here. Kyle, just need you to run this route real quick. Just open up a decoy. But that Bucks game, Zach took it personal. Zach was like, nah, we finna go ahead and scheme Kyle up. What you saw in that Bucks game is, I think, what you can get from Kyle if you get him the ball, right?
Right.
I didn't see Kyle dropping a bunch of passes. I didn't see Kyle saying, nah, F this team and I don't want to be here and all this stuff. I saw Kyle going out there and doing his job,
To your
right?
point,
Mhm.
sorry. To your point, I agree. You see the potential is there in games like that, especially in Raymond James Stadium. He decides to go off the last two seasons. But my thing is like, I'm really excited for, this new coaching staff with a lot of experience because I'm just hoping that we can do better about feeding all our weapons. I just feel like I noticed it seemed as if Kyle would go off when Drake would be out. Like, can they both eat in one game? Like, why does it have to be one or the other? Because
Right.
that game in Tampa, Drake London was out. So it's like, I feel like it's definitely it's possible for them both to go off in a single game. We don't need to just pick one or the other, but I think that goes back to the scheme being predictable and just changes needing to be had. We were not good on third down conversion and terrible in the red zone still. So hopefully this new coaching staff can make changes as far as the offense goes, because we definitely need that.
Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. King Atlanta supporters in the building. Craig's in the building. Archangel, Quentin Lavender is here in the building too as well. UC2 Smooth 378 is in the building. Hucklebuck, everybody's here. April Thomas is in the building. We got the questions from the chat segment coming up. Keith Simmons is in the building too as well. Big shout out to Keith Simmons. 21 carry. Oh, you do have
Happy
21 carry on.
I
I am
do
about to
have
say. You're still in savage mode, huh, Carrie? When
I
are we going to
love
get rid of
it.
21 Carrie right now? I mean, should we get to,
Maybe
off-season Carrie, smiley face Carrie? What are we going to do here? Because people see the
no, I'm
21 Carrie and
happy.
they get a little nervous, like, oh, she finna get real savage on Jack. She in here
No,
going
no,
in.
I'm happy. It's a new era for the Atlanta Falcons 2026. So Feeling like a lot of hope for next season. Really feeling like we got competent coaching staff as well as the new GM, Ian Cunningham. I really love all his experience, especially as a scout, and he just comes from two championship winning organizations. So, in the Ravens and the Eagles. So, and he's learned under some of the best. So, I just feel that gives me like hope and it gives me peace that we're in good hands, as far
Right.
as the franchise goes and what we're building here. And I also am happy Matt Ryan's back. It's so nice to have him back, and I truly do believe like no one would have the fans' best interest more than him. Like he really wants us to win.
Right. And especially like you mentioned with Ian Cunningham, not only the two winning organizations that he was with, he helped be a part of that rebuild with the Bears, which I
Yes,
think
that's
we all saw the success of the
one
Bears.
point.
And I saw some Bears fans this year that were enjoying the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, Falcon fans, I want to enjoy the playoffs too. And I think
Yes.
with Matt Ryan and Ian Cunningham, Kevin Stefanski and this group, they can get it done. Auntie Pam is here from AFN. Ladybirds are in the building too as
Hi,
well.
Auntie Pam.
Carrie, we got to get that Ladybird show going too as well with Pam and
Yes.
Maggie and the rest of the crew because they talk Falcons now. We've had Maggie over here, but we got to get the rest of the crew here in the building to talk some Falcons with us. It's going to be an amazing offseason here for One Time for the Fan. So much is going to happen this year with One Time for the Fan. I had a great conversation with T. Will the other day where he was like, Jack, look, we got to get it, bro. I'm like, T. Will, what you talking about, man? I'm over here playing 2K right now. He's like, nah, man, put the controller down, bro. We got to get it. We need to get the 2,000 subscribers, man. We get the 5,000 subscribers, man. Get the 10,000 subscribers. He was talking about opening up a store somewhere in Atlanta. I said, opening up a store? Wait, Timo, what the hell are you talking about? He was like, Jack, we got to get it. We got to take this podcast to the next level. And I feel what T. Will is saying. T. Will loves podcasting, right? You guys can see T. Will all times of the night podcasting, even talking about movies on For My ATO Movies. I don't know if the For My ATO drive-through is getting ready to happen because he does spend some time in a couple drive-throughs around the city. But One Time for the Fan, where T. Will got his start doing with the podcast, and he knows where One Time for the Fan can go, right? And he wants to do whatever it takes to not only uplift For My ATO Sports, but he wants to do the same to help uplift One Time for the Fan too as well. So for having a conversation with him, he got me thinking. I was sitting there looking around, I'm plotting, I'm planning. I put together my vision board this year for 2026. And it's like One Time for the Fan, just like my golf game, just like the streaming, just like my job, just like taking care of the family. One Time for the Fan is a big priority, right? So we're going to do the best we can to bring as much content as we can to you online, offline, wherever we can. And for you all that's in here today, if you have an Instagram, head on over to Instagram and follow One Time for the Fan. We're going to post something there today. Don't want to talk about it here on the podcast. There was some other news that came out today from somebody who doesn't cover the Atlanta Falcons, recently covered the Browns, NFL Insider, that has some things to say about some people here in Atlanta. And it will take up too much time if we discuss it right now. But I'm going to post it on the IG page. Let's get some reaction from some Falcon fans and see what they have to say over there too as well. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching or listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, hit the follow, YouTube. Go ahead and hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Run the likes up. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like super chatting, we will super chat with you. So big shout out to everybody who's just rocking with One Time for the Fan. I got your message, Carrie. Everybody who's rocking with One Time for the Fan. King Atlanta said, I want to see y'all in some movies. Hey, if it takes us to the big screen, if it takes us to, bigger podcasts and, of course, Sirius XM and hanging out with, Barstool, some of those guys, or even the radio station here in Atlanta, One Time for the Fan is always going to represent the Falcons. And we ain't going nowhere. I know a lot of players might be going in and out the door, but we ain't going nowhere, Falcon fans. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Was that? Archangel? I just saw Archangel. He said, Jack, you are in rare form today. He says, I'm out here preaching. Man, I'm just talking to the Falcon fans, man. The Falcon fans talk. We talk. We love to respond. And of course, with this high energy of the Atlanta Falcons fan base, having a great time this offseason, taking care of their personal stuff, but also gearing up for, I think, a really interesting and fantastic season from the Atlanta Falcons. We love going on the podcast and talking live. Of course, with the schedule, sometimes a little different. Carrie was sick the past couple of days, so make sure we all give our best well wishes to Carrie so she can get back to 100%. T Will has his channel too as well. I was taking care of a lot of stuff. So when we get a chance to go live, Archangel, King Atlanta, D Craig, you already know that we're going to include everybody. So bring y'all comments, bring y'all facts and knowledge about the Atlanta Falcons. There's so many season ticket holders in here. There's so many people who represent the Falcons from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s to the 90s. T Will's been a fan for the Falcons of 40 plus years. Do you think T Will wants the Super Bowl? T Will wants a Super Bowl just as bad as the fan who's been supporting the Falcons for the past 20 years. Right? So that's why when we gear up, Kara, what'd you say? 24-hour stream when we win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
How are we
Gonna
going to
be
do that? Carrie
That's
will
gonna
help
be
us out.
so
I don't know,
we're just
but
gonna take turns going, like, we're gonna just continue a stream. We're gonna be on our Kai Cenat. We're gonna be
it's tough.
everybody's just gonna
I'm
be hopping in and out, like joining from their phones, like joining from, wherever they're celebrating. Hopefully one of us is in attendance for the game, but at watch parties, wherever. All I know is I'm gonna be making a trip to Atlanta because I am not going to
You're
miss
not missing
that
that parade,
parade.
huh?
I'm not missing that parade, and I don't have anybody to celebrate, and it won't hit the same down in Florida, so I gotta go
Driving,
experience it.
flying, walking, bike riding. Carrie says she's not missing it.
I'm not missing it. No, I'm not.
Art said, imagine the Benz during the playoffs. Man, that's going to be crazy. Craig in the chat said, I think Drake would be traded, especially if we pay Pitts and B
Wow.
because you can't afford all three and the defense later on. The cool thing about it is the Falcons salary cap next year, I think, should be way better than what we've been looking at this year. But yes,
Yes,
you do
because
have
no
to
more
pay Bijan.
Kirk. No more
Oh, that's
Kirk
right.
at that point. So
Carrie
yeah,
has to
to
throw
your
that in there.
point. No, but that's what it is that the Kirk Cousins contract you won't hit to have that hit anymore. So there's gonna be a lot of free money next year. And obviously the cap space will also go up. So to your point, I would be very shocked if Drake London is not a Falcon. I
You,
would be. Do you think there's a chance they would trade him? I mean, they're thinking about
you got to
keeping
keep the good thing going.
Pitts
I don't
over
even want to
Drake. No
think, Craig.
way.
You come in here joking sometimes, Craig. That ain't no joke, Craig. Don't do that to us, Craig. We got to keep the good thing going. Drake,
Yeah, I don't see it
Bijan,
personally.
right? There will be other moves to be made, but Drake has to be your franchise guy. How long did Julio stay here? How long
Shoot.
did Roddy stay here? You got to keep
I
Drake London here.
You
Drake
just
London
don't
has
have any
shown.
other. Yeah, I mean, and you have no other weapons. And my goodness, not only has he shown that he can be, that guy as far as your receiver goes, but he has like said, for me, he said things in interviews that I really like that, not all players say. And he says, I remember in one interview he did this past off season where he said, how special would it be to help this team win their first ever Super Bowl. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think he really would love to stay in Atlanta. Like, I get that words don't always hold the same value as actions, but not everybody's out here saying that. He said he would love to stay in Atlanta, and I don't get why he wouldn't. So I don't see a world where he gets traded. I would be very shocked.
I see a world where Drake London is here as a Falcon for a long time, keeping the
Me
good thing
too.
going. Drake, Bijan, of course, whatever they're getting ready to work out with Kyle. And you got to think about some of these players too, as well, like working with the Falcons.
I
Like you
mean,
got the greatest running back in the NFL right now.
guys, I'm just shocked that people are really thinking we're gonna trade Drake London this off season. I mean, have you seen our receiver room? Respectfully, like it's very bare.
Drake
And
is
then
the
you're gonna,
veteran now, who once was the rookie
yeah.
years ago.
No, I just would like you to highlight edgewise, like, we appreciate everybody's comments, but he said, yes, they might trade Drake for the JPJ trade. Need more picks, honestly, which I do agree with you. We do need more picks. We have five, right? But, Ian Cunningham, like he said to us his first year in Chicago, they ended with 10 when they had 5. And they didn't do that, by accident. It was very planned out. And I do think there is going to be a plan to grab more picks. He's going to want to be that type of GM that wants to trade back. I don't think it means trading away your best wide receiver one, your best receiver, and one of your only very bare wide receiver room. Okay, it's
You're
not
a veteran
crowded.
on your rookie deal. Trade him
So,
away. No, we can't do that. Can't.
I don't know. I just have to disagree because you say need more picks, honestly, but then who are you getting? Because then you got to replace him, and you already need a wide receiver 2 and a wide receiver 3. So it's like I don't know. I
I
personally I
can
don't see
find
it.
other options to get more picks than trading Drake London. Um, of course, that third round, a lot of teams know that they eat off the second and third round. We're not trading away the second to leave the second round or trade away the third to leave the third round. Trading back can get you some more picks too as well. The off-season moves the Falcons make through free agency is going to be very important because in the past, Kerry, you've seen it when we've been on the podcast. They kind of gear up to let you know we're going this direction in the draft. If the Falcons load up on wide receivers in the offseason in the free agency when it opens,
Hmm.
I don't think they're going wide receiver with the number 2 pick. Like if we know we get our second receiver, our third receiver, they say they're going to elevate Chris Blair or they're going to work more with Casey Washington, X, Y, and Z. I don't think they're going to look to go wide receiver in the second pick. Billy Bowman coming back. If they resign D. Alford, Mike Hughes probably still in the building. Could they go Kobe Bryant too? I think who's going to be here in Atlanta for the next year or so. I don't think they're going to go cornerback that too as well. If they attack everything but what fans have been saying, let me tell you something, Falcon fans, y'all been on point this offseason. What a lot of y'all been saying, which makes me think that Matt Ryan or Arthur Blank has a burner account because they're probably paying attention to social media some way somehow. That defensive tackle position is very big right now. I think people have been mentioning you need a nasty defensive tackle in the middle. I think we were getting ate up in the run game a few times more than expected last year, especially the game when Kerry picked Jonathan Taylor in the fantasy football league that we were playing in against me, where I could have beat Kerry that day, but Jonathan Taylor decided to run for 200 plus yards. I had to throw that Undertaker bell in there because Kerry was not supposed to play um, Jonathan Taylor that day. I thought me and Kerry agreed
Oh
play
wow.
against each other, we would not, use, players from the team that we're playing against because they're playing against the Falcons. I thought Kerry was going to make a sub that week, but
No, I'm
apparently
not
she did
subbing
not.
out my best player. No way.
She
No way.
clearly the best player helped her win that game because I was in Kerry. I was going crazy on Kerry that day, and sure enough, I look up and Jonathan Taylor has 100 and what yards? Oh my, how many points does he have fantasy wise? Well, I just lost that game. And of course, losing that game messed me up with my playoff positioning because, I could have been in a better position to go beat Country or to go beat Bodie or to go beat somebody else. But big shout out to Debo Vibes, who I, gave a whooping to. And he was able to give me that Tito's. Debo Vibes, we still sipping on that Tito's bottle too, as well, by the way. Big shout out to Debo Vibes. Edgewise, I see the question that you got about the quarterback. I'm going to get to that in the questions from the chat segment. I think Edgewise said he's a Panther fan too, as well, Kerry.
Okay,
So
that makes more sense why he wants us to trade our best wide receiver.
he's trying to get Drake London in Carolina. That's what's going on. That's what's happening right now. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. We're just talking some Falcons football here about Kyle Pitts, and we're getting everybody's thoughts here. I see we have a lot more Falcon fans in the building, in the chat. Kerry, I know you do have to step out for a minute. We'll probably be off the stream by the time you get back. Do you have a couple of minutes, Kerry? Still, or you might go ahead and just wrap it up for yourself right here,
Can you hear me?
Kerry? Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta head out, but I truly appreciate being able to come back, even if it was only for like 30 minutes. Um, I'm happy to be back talking Falcons with y'all. I mean, hopefully T will be back. Check us out today. We got the Terry, Carrie, and Eric show, 6:30 p.m. on T Will's channel. But Yeah, it's been nice talking to you about Falcons, and it's gonna be a really interesting off season. I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah,
Carrie,
hope
where can they
everybody has
find
a
you on
great
social
one.
media so everybody knows where to get their facts and their knowledge from when it comes to these Falcons or Manchester City, who's getting ready to win the Premier League?
Oh my, isn't that crazy? Arsenal were 11 points at the top of the table, and now it's 2 points only. Like they're
We still have a
they
game in
might
hand, don't we? Manchester City.
yeah, I think they're gonna bottle it. Like
Yeah.
again, they always second place, so it's gonna be interesting. But no, all that to say, you can find me on Twitter. It's my name, Carrie, Carrie, Len XOX. And I talk mostly Falcons only on there. So, but I've been kind of quiet, honestly, Jack, because I've been so sick. So I'm gonna try to start being active again, though.
Well, it's good to have you back here, Carrie. Definitely get back to 100%. And we'd love to have you here on One Time for the Fan. Anytime you can show up, or even if you're not here, we know you're somewhere in the chat or you're watching the podcast during the show or even after the show, because Carrie is a big Atlanta Falcon fan, just like some of you all here in the chat. So when you need positivity about the Atlanta Falcons, head on over to Carrie's page. Carrie, thank you so much for joining us here on One Time for the Fan. Let's see
Thanks,
here.
Jack. Have a good day, everyone.
You too. You too. Big shout out to Miss Carrie who jumped in here. I know when the show started, I said, I don't know if she's going to jump in or not. She was a little bit under the weather. Of course, she was, been away from One Time for a week or so because she was sick. But Carrie's a diehard Falcon fan. She loves talking Falcons. You can catch her here on One Time for the Fan. We go live on Sunday nights at 8, Wednesday nights at 8, Friday mornings, our breakfast podcast, pop-up shows here and there. Carrie is a big-time Atlanta Falcon fan, so you guys can get the best from Carrie when you guys check her out on her page or right here on the podcast. She does have a podcast tonight with Eric Parker and T. Will on the Eric, Carrie, and Terry show. I believe that's going to be around 6:30. So definitely check that one out too as well. We got Big Low Country here in the chat. Big Low said 21 Carrie got on a shiesty somewhere, walking around like Pooh Shiesty right now. Gosh. Big shout out to Big Low Country here in the chat talking Falcons football. See who else we got. Here. Let's just catch up to some of the comments. Archangel said Drake London is my favorite player on the team. A lot of fans' favorite player. I can tell you that right now. The Drake London jerseys are definitely flying off the racks at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We got T Will. T Will's in the chat. Said, "What's up, y'all?" Look at T Will right there. So of course, T Will, if he's not able to join us on the podcast, he's definitely there moderating the chat, talking with a lot of you all when it comes to Falcons football. See, Craig's back here in the chat. You got April Thomas in the chat. Let's see, Georgia, Texas boy. Let's see. Shout out to Georgia, Texas boy launching his podcast. Georgia, Texas boy speaks. Hey, big shout out to Georgia, Texas boy. We got to get him on the channel too as well, because Georgia, Texas boy has been here in the chat a lot talking Falcons football with us, and it would be great to have him come up and talk some Falcons football with us for a couple minutes too as well. 82 Money Carlos says, trade our premier receiver to go get some guys. Nah, I'm good on that. Craig's in the chat. He said, if not Drake, then we tag Pitts just to be traded. That trade talk with Pitts could be on the table. If not, then the Falcons will be set to give him a deal to keep him here in Atlanta for a couple more years. Edgewise said there are some wide receivers in the draft. If the Falcons do look to go get a young guy, I'm thinking more of like 4th round. You can go get a guy to probably play your 3rd or 4th receiver. You got to try to work free agency first to see if you can get a veteran guy, because Drake is still young, right? You just don't want 2 young receivers out there running around on the field, especially with a young quarterback like Michael Penix too as well, or whatever route the Falcons decide to take with the quarterback situation. I think there's a couple, and the wide receiver market right now is not all that great when it comes to the free agency. I think you guys can go look it up as the free agent wide receivers that's on Spot Track, or I think Yahoo Sports or NFL.com, some of those places where you can go get your information. There's not no really big names like that. And the market to go get a Debo Samuels for the Falcons, I don't see it. The market to go get a Tyreek Hill for the Falcons, I don't see it. Now, there's a couple people that you might say could fit. Alec Pierce, maybe from the Colts, could fit. You know, Kendrick Bourne maybe could be a fit. Do the Falcons want to take these, draft picks and go invest in a wide receiver early in the draft? Do they come away with a wide receiver in the draft? When we do our draft segment coming up, we're going to have those questions for defensive tackles to target, linebackers to look at. Do they want to go safety too as well? I think the Jesse Bates news that fans have been speaking of is Jesse Bates going to be here long term with the Atlanta Falcons? There's a lot of things that we can go over when it comes to that. I, for one, want Jesse Bates here in Atlanta. I think he's done a phenomenal job working with Xavier Watts back there in the secondary, right? And Jesse Bates is still Jesse Bates. He's still a top 10, if not top 5 safety in the league. And to get rid of him, to bring in a safety that we're unsure about, that's kind of difficult. Jesse Bates is still Jesse Bates, y'all. Thoughts on a healthy Trice? He has to be healthy. I've seen Trice coming out of college and was like, whoa. That kid right there is going to be something special in the NFL, especially for the Atlanta Falcons. Injury. Comes back from injury. Working through camp, working through the workouts, doing whatever he can to get back healthy. Gets injured again. Trice is still under rookie contract. Do we get something out of Trice this year? I would hope that we do. Arnold Ebiketie is a name to watch for too. Does his price go up this year? Leonard Floyd, D'Angelo Malone. These are things that the Falcons have to go look at in their offseason. And this is going to be a moment where I think Matt Ryan and the crew have to sit back and say, who fits what we need defensively? Defensively, you got to go speak to Jeff Ulbrich. I don't think Matt wants to make a decision without speaking to Jeff Ulbrich. I don't think Ian's going to make a decision without speaking to Jeff Ulbrich when it comes to Trice, when it comes to D'Angelo, when it comes to Caden Ellis, right? If Jeff Ulbrich said we can do this, that, and the third with this guy, this is what we need to do. I mean, you heard what Jeff said about Keith, about Caden Ellis in the press conference. You got to get 3-4 guys to do what Caden Ellis does. And is this something that they want to lose right now? So big shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Just be careful with Bijan contract. Learn from us, the Panthers with CMC. I love Bijan. I'm a Texas Longhorns fan as well. Big shout out to EdgeWise in the chat. The Christian McCaffrey thing versus Bijan Robinson, I know they did, end up losing Christian McCaffrey after they invested so much into him. If Bijan continues to do Bijan things, the Falcons organization, with the way that Arthur Blank versus David Tepper, the way that Arthur Blank deals with his players, your Roddy Whites, your Julio Jones, your Matt Ryans. Hell, if Calvin didn't get banged up, Calvin might still even be in the building. Arthur Blank loves these guys, and they're community guys. Bijan has done everything on and off the field that I think this city, this fan base, this organization would say, we have to keep him here for as long as possible. I would be shocked in 2028 if Bijan is not a Falcon. I would be truly shocked. Bijan has done Bijan things that only Bijan can do. And now he's playing golf. So big shout out to Bijan Robinson. I'm a golf guy. Hey, we got to get Bijan Robinson on the podcast, man. Hopefully we can talk some golf with him. Quentin Lavender said, I want to see how Trice comes back. I definitely want to see how Trice comes back too as well, man. I'm so ready to see, Braylon Trice with this group. Could he add to what Jeff Ulbrich needs this offseason, right? So big shout out to Braylon Trice, because that's a name that fans keep forgetting about. But as we get closer and closer to mandatory workouts, voluntary workouts, OTAs, that Braylon Trice name is getting ready to get right back up there on the top of Falcon fans' minds. Like, man, we got JPJ, we got Jalen Walker. Man, if they resign Caden Ellis, do they want to go and spend a little couple dollars on Leonard Floyd to bring him back? Has he been what Jeff Ulbrich needs? David O. Don't forget about David Onyemata. Is he something that the Falcons need to look at this offseason and say, we don't need to go out there and spend a bunch of dollars to go get some big name defensive tackle. Let's just keep David O in the building. Let's draft somebody under him so David O can teach this young, like Country would say, young Thundercat, young Jim, young diamond in the rough. We did a great job bringing in Dorless, Jalen Walker. Look at some of these draft picks that the Falcons have made in the past couple of years. I think Ian Cunningham adds to it. Terry did a decent job. Terry's downfall was some of these contracts. Paying Kirk Cousins what he paid, I know that might be what the quarterback market was because there was no quarterbacks at that time. The three quarterbacks that fans continued to talk about during the Kirk Cousins free agency era were Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and Kirk Cousins, coming off of what we had here in Atlanta with Desmond Ridder. They didn't want to wait till 2026, 2027 to get a Mendoza or to get another. They didn't want to wait. And they could have just said, you know what? Let's give Zach Robinson a rookie quarterback and see what he wants to do. But Raheem ain't want to do that. Raheem was buddy. Y'all know that. Raheem looked at Zach like the same way he looked at Jimmy Lake and said, we're going to help build your coaching resume. We just left the Rams with Matthew Stafford, a veteran quarterback. Who is a veteran quarterback that reminds us of Matthew Stafford? In a way, you know how them coaches think. Let's give him Kirk Cousins, somebody who can understand defenses, somebody who can break down coverages, somebody who knows how to game plan with us versus spending time with a rookie. Y'all seen it when they had Penix. There was times when Zach Robinson was looking up at the hello board with Raheem. Like, they didn't even know Michael Penix was sitting back there. Until that time Kirk got injured, it was like, oh, now we got to go with the rookie. The plan was for Kirk to stay here for a couple of years, let him help with Raheem and the crew. Don't forget, if everybody's winning, everybody's looking good, but the plan backfired. And it looked bad for Jimmy Lake the first year. Oh, Raheem said, I'll fix it. Give us Jeff Ulbrich. The plan backfired second year. The offense took a dramatic hit. Raheem said, I can fix it. Arthur Blank said, I'm done fixing this shit. I'll fix it. You ain't fixing nothing no more, buddy. You're gone. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is on that, man. Big shout out to Quentin Lavender here in the chat. Archangel says nothing like talking Falcons football. Boy, Archangel, man. Archangel, you rode with me down to New Orleans, man, when we drove down to New Orleans a couple years ago for that Falcons Saint game. Arch said, I ain't never been to New Orleans yet. I ain't never been to Bourbon Street. I ain't never been to Canal Street. Put me on game. What am I getting ready for? I said, bro, after this 6-hour drive, when we get to New Orleans, you're going to have the greatest time of your life, bro. I promise you, you're going to eat good. You're going to party good. You're going to drink good. You're going to mingle and mix with all these Falcon fans. Ain't no other game bigger in the NFC South than the Falcons and Saints. Falcons, Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, ain't nothing bigger than Falcons, Saints, especially down there in New Orleans. Man, that's a good damn time. Hey, man, when that schedule drops in May, telling y'all, if y'all never been to New Orleans, you better book early. That's the first city I booked. I done been to 20 stadiums. The first city I booked whenever I'm traveling for a Falcon game is New Orleans. Yes, we have the international game this year. Yes, we're also going to be heading back to where are we heading? We're heading to Carolina. We're heading to Tampa. We're heading to Green Bay. But that game in New Orleans, it just hit different. And you can gamble like a motherfucker down there. Boy, I tell you, boy, going there gets Good money out the parlays, boy. Edgewise in the chat said, just sub to you, brother. Great show. Hey, big shout out to Edgewise, man. I'm glad we can talk NFC South football, on a nice level. Your Panthers, little brother. We call y'all little brother. Little brother did their thing this year. But big brother got to shine. His big brother got to get our get backs. So it's coming up, man. We're gonna have a nice little Falcon Panther show coming up later on this year too, as well, man. So definitely, if you want to be a part of that when the season gets underway, we'd love to have you here, Edgewise. Pam Johnson says y'all are forgetting the undrafted 8th round there. A lot of diamond in the rough players. There are diamonds in the roughs all through this draft. If you have the right coaches to coach these guys up, I've seen so many solid players not get coached up the right way, and then their career just goes from all because of the team they went to. Some people can say, back in the day, a couple years ago, going to the Jets was a bad look, right? Going to the Cleveland Browns long ago was a bad look. The Cincinnati Bengals before Joe Burrow, right? Like those times were tough, man. Those fans been going through it. Remember the Bills before Josh Allen? They were going through it. DSGB Hall's in the chat said Meg is Jack's favorite fullback on the team. DSGB Hall on the way to go put money on Carolyn's books in Macon County. Big shout out to DSGB Hall here talking Falcons football with us too as well. Bobby D's in the chat. He said, man, I'm all for it. What's up one time for the fan family? He said, yeah, man. The only reason we tagged was because we didn't have an efficient quarterback to truly prove himself for a legitimate contract. Hey, now, Bobby D, you're going to get these fans riled up now. You're going to get these fans talking now, Bobby D. I try to do my best to not come in here and speak about Michael Penix. Yes, one time for the fan is all for the 53. I'm all for Michael Penix. We do want y'all to head over to the Instagram page on One Time for the Fan. I'm going to post something in about an hour or two. And I want to get y'all thoughts. I want to get y'all feedback on it. Because there's a reporter who said some things about our quarterback, about our organization today that got some fans talking. Kerry and Terry Country, A1, y'all know when we talk our Falcons football offline, I've said a couple of these things about what 2027 could look like if it doesn't go well for the young kid. Some fans like, nah, Jack, you can't say anything. I'm trying to keep it respectful 100%, but it's a business. And some things work out, some things don't work out. But I'm all for Falcons putting Michael. They are surrounding this kid with nothing but experience and accountability when it comes to developing a young lad like Michael Penix and giving him the best situation to go forward and win. The problem is there's a lot of other variables that can affect that, such as these quarterbacks who are now becoming available, such as the old regime drafting this young guy and having a new regime in there where it's like, this might not be my guy. We got to win with him. If we don't win with him, what do we do? But Kerry's here for it. Terry's here for it. I'm here for it. I want to win. At the end of the day, y'all want to win too. So let's just hope and pray for the best for the young man, Michael Penix. But y'all know the business in the NFL. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's just a business. Falcon fans in the chat. Colts are planning to use the tag on Alex Pierce if they can get a deal. If they can't get a deal done, don't let him become available, because that's one of my first targets for the Falcons to go after. 82 Monte Carlo said exactly why we need to keep Tyler, to keep Bijan fresh. Hey, man, you remember how running backs were getting paid back in the day versus how they're getting paid now? There's an opportunity to keep Tyler. I would love to have Tyler Algier here in Atlanta with Bijan. I think that 1-2 punch, that combo, that Ryan Garcia, boop, boop, that ghost punch that you can't see, that's what happens when we got Bijan and Tyler in the game. And you talking about weapons, we want to add weapons to the offense. Drake, Bijan, Jake Matthews ain't running no 50-something yards down the field. We're trying to get weapons to keep the chains moving. Tyler Algier is that. That's a weapon. You keep Tyler Algier this year, that's a weapon right there. You know what I'm saying? He's a phenomenal running back. Phenomenal, man. I'd love to keep Tyler here. Smooth CS said, I think we go nothing but trenches and a couple skill players when they trade back. It's all about getting those draft picks, man. You got the right coaches. You got the coaching staff. You got the great organization to build these players' mindsets on and off the field, which is another thing, too, about this organization. Did y'all notice? We ain't hearing no JPJ news. Y'all notice that? I ain't heard nobody talk about JPJ in a minute. Sound like somebody gearing up to keep him. Somebody need them 10.5 sacks out there. That's what I'm saying. This organization will help you out now. They will help you out. Give Tyler a 3-year, $50 million contract. Pay the man, play the man. Uncle Lou, what Tyler? Tyler, where your uncle at? Your uncle in the chat? Give the ball to Tyler. Let me text Uncle Lou, tell him, tune into this podcast, man. Give the ball to Tyler, man. We forgot about Zach Harrison. I ain't forget about Zach Harrison. I did not forget about Zach. Yes, he's been banged up a little bit. Do Jeff Ulbrich and the Falcons need a Zach Harrison next season? Can you find first of all, here's the thing. Can you find a James Pierce Jr. or a Jalen Walker in the draft? That's the question. With a second-round pick, can you find a James Pierce Jr. or a Jalen Walker in the draft? Can you find a Zach Harrison with that second or third pick in the draft? It's a question for you. And this is no knock to Zach. I think he's an outstanding player coming from Ohio State. He's been doing some decent things here in Atlanta. It's a business. What can the Falcons do with a guy like Zach Harrison when he comes back from injury? D. Sloan's in the chat said, one time for the fan, what it do, man? He said, Pitt's on the tag, but it's a proven deal to get him a long-term deal. I'm all for it, man. First of all, Kyle Pitts, if y'all want to tag him or send this clip to him, not only do we need Kyle Pitts here in Atlanta to help move the chains, to help be, a weapon for this offense with his buddy Michael Penix, but I need Pitts here because he throws this golf tournament in like May, June. And I told myself last year, once I get to a certain handicap, I'll be playing in that tournament. I got to whoop up on Pitts in this tournament, right? Now, his little buddy, I don't know him, but I know him. His little buddy been real chirpy. He knows what I'm talking about. His little buddy been real chirpy. Man, Jack, we gotta get on that golf course, man. We gotta get on that golf course, big dog. I'm ready when you are, big dog. Ain't nothing to me. Little buddy been real chirpy. I gotta whoop up on both of them on that golf, man. I ain't playing that. Bijan, gotta get you too. D. Alford hit me up last year, man. I get on that golf too, man. D. Alford, get your ass out there. I saw you playing golf the other day online. I loaded up the PS5. I was like, what the hell D. Alford doing playing PGA? He ain't supposed to be playing no PGA. What? D. Alford be running from me on this game, bro. Telling you, bro. Man, that boy said that crawfish etouffee, man. I tell you, go down to New Orleans, get you some of that crawfish etouffee. Edge Wise said, let me know I got you, man. Yeah, we do that Falcons Panthers podcast, man. We'd love to have you, man. Big brother versus little bro. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Edge Wise in the building, man. He said, and to let you know, I wasn't pulling for Bryce Young. I need a quarterback for the Panthers. I've heard that from a lot of Panther fans, that they're not too tough to vouch for Bryce Young. Yes, he got y'all to the playoffs. Edge Wise, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be 100%. Keep it real. When y'all made the playoffs, I myself and a lot of other Falcon fans said, y'all not beating these playoff Rams. I sat there, I said, y'all beat them in the regular season. Y'all not beating them playoff Rams. you did have them until the last 2 minutes of the game. And I was like, I know the Panthers ain't panthering right now. No way. Sure enough, that boy Matthew Stafford. Man. Archangel said, I'm rooting for the kid Penix. I want him to succeed. A lot of us do. A lot of us do in Atlanta. Matt know how it's going to play out if they don't do right by him because he took all the Vic flack being the next up. Hey, Monte Carlo. Falcon fan, read that. Y'all remember that Vic transition over to Matt Ryan? Remember that whole years in between? And it ain't our franchise guy. We need us a Matt Ryan. We need us a Michael Vick out there. Matt Ryan became that franchise guy. Matt Ryan warmed a lot of y'all hearts on the field and off the field. Matt Ryan. I gotta get me a Matt Ryan soundbite. Matt Ryan. We're going to be saying Matt Ryan a lot here on the podcast. Quentin said, if Zach is healthy and we don't keep him, we crazy. He's definitely needed. I'm for not letting a good thing go. Caden Ellis. If you can find a way to work with Caden Ellis, don't let him go. If you can find a way to keep a lot of these parts on that defense, don't let them go. And add to it. Zach Harrison has been a big plus for us. He's been a big positive for us for the defense before he went down. Dorless, Rook. Don't let a good thing go. That's why I'm all for keeping Bijan here for as long as we can. Keeping Drake here for as long as he can. Man, these guys been giving it they all out there. Now, there's a couple players I can say, oh, no, he got to go. Oh, he got to get up out of here. I understand that. But there's some of them ones that hit us the right way. Right here in the heart. Hit us the right way. Zach Harrison's one of them dudes. Dorless is one of them dudes. Some can say the same for Trice coming out of college, but we haven't seen it in the NFL. So most of y'all can't say that about J.D. Bertram. This ain't no knock to J.D. Bertram. Most of y'all can't say that. Some of y'all looking at Divine Diablo like, bro, we need Divine Diablo. Where has he been? If we would have had him in 2022, 2023, it'd be totally different. Because when these players come in there and they do what they do on the field and you see the impact they make, you don't want to let them go. Yeah, there's another guy out there that can get it done. Some of these players, you know what they're about when they're out there on that field. AJ Terrell, Puka said it. Puka called AJ Terrell one of the best corners he's ever gone up against. Puka knows it, and Puka's one of the top receivers in the game. Everybody knows about Terrell Allen. I remember that year, what was it, 2 years ago? There wasn't nobody other than Mike Evans. There wasn't nobody that wanted to throw near AJ Terrell way. If you a number 2 cornerback here in the NFL, you got to know if you're playing with the Atlanta Falcons, you getting a lot of targets. Because you know what's happening over there on the other side of the field? They're not even going that way unless he's in zone. Don't let him man up. Don't let Terrell man up with you. It's a wrap. Mike Evans is a different breed, though. Y'all know what Mike Evans do. And he could be on his way out, too, as well. Big shout out to all the fans in the chat, man. Big shout out to all the fans in the chat. We had a good conversation talking about Kyle Pitts. I didn't even get a chance to really go into the whole Kyle Pitts thing. 284 receptions out of 451 targets, 3,500 yards, 15 touchdowns here. Of course, that Bucs game last year went crazy. The last couple games of the season for Kyle went crazy. Got to keep Kyle here. Need some weapons. Need to move the chains. Let's keep Kyle in the building. Let's see what it is. Quinn Lavender, just remember Brady and Mahomes was late draft picks and went through struggles before becoming great. Man, you show is right about that, Quinn Lavender. Is if the Falcons want to take that same philosophy from that time when it comes to Michael Penix. Do they want to go to Peyton Manning threw his first interception? Do they want to do that? Some mindsets of these owners are a little bit different. especially when you're in an 8-year drought. And if we go 6-1 with a new quarterback this offseason, I know Falcon fans. If we go 6-1, if Penix ain't ready till week 7, I know these fans. Y'all want to keep the good thing going. Y'all want to win. That's why it's very crucial for him to be ready week 1. I mean 200% ready. Because Kevin Stefanski is putting his name on it. Matt Ryan is putting his name on it. And God forbid something happens week 3, week 4 when it's like, here we go. Here we go. We don't want that to happen, but it's the NFL. So what do they want to do when it comes to that? Marcus is in the chat. Marcus Cummings, man, family, great, straightforward content. But I have a question. I'm a Pitts fan, but how about the SC tight end or Njoku? Just want your perspective. With the tagging of Kyle Pitts, now it's a Charlie Warner decision now, because if you're running this personnel where you're going to be using these 3 tight ends a lot, and you bring back Charlie Warner, I don't know if they go get Njoku with the money that they have. Caden Ellis is going to be a big re-signing coming up. A big re-signing. I don't know if they want to go that route. I don't mind if they want to elevate Josh Simon and see what he can do. I don't mind that. Because you have a young guy who's sitting on your practice squad that you haven't got a chance to see. If you want to draft a guy in the second or the third, I'm not second round, third, fourth round. Matter of fact, when you start trading back and you get those extra picks and you want to get 2 third-rounders, you got 2 fourth-rounders now, you want to use one on a rookie tight end, let's ride. Let's get it done. Kevin Stefanski used to coach tight ends. And a Kyle Pitts and a Stefanski offense can move the chains. A new tight end that we haven't seen yet, I can't necessarily say is going to be able to just move the chains. What role do they want to put him in? Everybody has to have a significant role when it comes to this offense, when it comes to this team. I think we know what Kyle Pitts' role is going to be here with Kevin Stefanski. And you heard Kyle Pitts say it on the podcast with Jordan Schultz and Draymond Green. He thinks it would be dope to work with Kevin Stefanski because Kevin Stefanski used to be a tight ends type of guy. Zach Robinson wasn't no tight ends type of guy. Raheem Morris wasn't no tight ends type of guy. Kevin Stefanski has been in that position. Tommy Reese has worked with these guys in that position. So they know that they can get Kyle Pitts schematically the ball the way he needs it. If it's 6-7 targets and he comes away with 4 or 5 catches for $120, that's Kyle Pitts. We've seen Kyle Pitts in that Bucs game. We've seen Kyle Pitts at the end of the year. You get him the ball, he can make something happen. We saw him that Patriot game. You get him the ball, he can make something happen. I ain't seen Kyle Pitts go out there and just start dropping a bunch of passes. I've never seen that. I've never seen Kyle Pitts like, oh, he just dropped that. Oh, he dropped that. Oh, he missed that one. He dropped that one. What you see from Kyle Pitts in that Bucs game against a Bucs team who wanted to make the playoffs, who was fighting to make the playoffs, and we were down a couple of receivers, and they knew that we were going to Kyle Pitts, they couldn't stop it. They could not stop it. I wouldn't mind them going with a backup pick in the draft, late third, if they get an extra one, 4th round, if these guys drop down and say, we can get a tight end. I think the tight end from Cincinnati, too, as well, is getting ready to come out this year. Even Oscar Delp. Is Oscar Delp a good fit here for the Falcons? I think his combine stock is dropping down a little bit. Do they want to get another Georgia boy back in the building? Right? So I'm all for it if they want to use not only Kyle Pitts in the right role, but also have Charlie Warner in that big pass blocking and run blocking situation where Charlie Warner last year was clearing shit. You saw Charlie Warner. And don't forget, he can dump out in the flat and catch a couple passes when you least expect it. You got to scheme up the right routes for these guys, the right plays for these guys. And I think with Kevin Stefanski, with these weapons that we've had versus what he's had in Cleveland, can definitely get the job done. A big shout out to Marcus Cummings in the chat, man. talking to Falcons football with us. Let's see here. We got said Miles said, man, in the chat. Shout to Miles in the chat. Hopefully I'm saying it correctly. Hopefully the new front office is smart and looks at Pitt's full body of work during the last 5 years. He should be traded or let him play on the tag, but no way they're giving Pitts an extension. And Falcon fans agree to disagree. That's what it's about here when it comes to talking these about these topics, because fans love talking about these things. These are off-season discussions. We can't have these discussions in week 3, week 4. Let's talk about it in February, because the new the new season getting ready to start in a couple of weeks, right? Technically, some can say it already started, but when that free agency period comes up, that off-season comes up, that draft comes up, man, it's going down in a major way, man. Quentin Lavender is in the chat, man. He said, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'm glad you said that, Quint. If you're on YouTube right now watching, I see a lot of people here watching, just hit the like button, right? I know you're probably scrolling. You probably have it in the little small window. You're on Twitter. You're on Prize Picks. You're moving around. Just go back to YouTube and just hit the like button. Even after the show, just hit the like button, right? It goes a long way for content creators. It goes a long way for people who just enjoy watching the show. It helps the algorithm get out there so people know more about One Time for the Fan. But also, if you want to share it to your buddies, you want to share it to your Falcon people, man, we got Panther fans in here watching the podcast. We have Bucks fans. Y'all know Bucks Skull Gang. He jumped in here the other day. I can say this. We haven't had any Saints fans in here for some strange reason. I don't know if they don't want to see it. We haven't had any Saints fans in here watching the podcast, but seeing the amount of Bucks fans and Panther fans that have been showing up respectfully, they ain't coming in here talking trash and F y'all team. They come in here respectful and they talk Falcons, they talk NFC South, they talk about what we can get going on, in the offseason to build their team, to help build our team. And, every topic and every opinion that people put out here, we love to talk about it here on the channel. So big shout out to everybody who's in here listening and watching the show. But yeah, hit that like and share and subscribe. If you're on the YouTube channel, you can head over to Facebook, type in One Time for the Fan, and hit that like and share button too as well. If you're on Twitter, head over to Twitter and just repost it, reshare it. Tag us too as well. We're One Time for the Fan on there. We want everybody to be a part of the show, man. Marcus said, hopefully now Stefanski here at PlayStation is a focal point in 2026. Hopefully quarterback to tight end be top 5 this year. Hey, whatever you do to get the chain, to get the team in a top 15 offense, to keep the defense in a top 15 defense, I'm all for it, because it's about winning. We gotta win. I'll be surprised if we go to the playoffs with the 28th ranked offense in the league, the 26th ranked defense in the league. Them some lucky ass games we're gonna be winning this year. But hey, a win is a win, and I'm all for it. I want these players healthy, walking off the field so they can be home with their family. They can go out there and compete to do what they have to do to help uplift this city, especially when it comes to football season. Miles in the chat, shout out to Miles in the chat. He said, if the front office looks at Pitt's full body of work during the past 5 years, they won't give him an extension. He does not deserve it. Falcon fans, as you can see, agree or disagree. This is what it's about when it comes to talking Falcons football. And I see we're getting ready to get close to the wrap-up period. So we'll do the questions from the chat segment now. I'll save the last topic for Wednesday night, because we'll be back here Wednesday night. Archangel says Stefanski will actually use Pitts versus what Zach Robinson did. Miles in the chat said, for anyone finding excuses for Pitts, just look at Brock Bowers. That quarterback situation was tough too as well, especially with what Chip Kelly was their offensive coordinator. Pete Carroll was he came back at the wrong time to the wrong team. It wasn't working out too well there with the Raiders, and of course, Brock Bowers, go Dogs. Always root for those Georgia players. But yeah, Brock Bowers had a tough situation out there with the Raiders too as well. Quentin said Pitts has never fumbled, just like Tyler. Hey, get that man the ball. That's all I'm saying, is get that man the ball. But we got to see what happens this offseason, we just got to see what happens, man. Pitts does not drop passes. Seriously, man, he's the worst at contested catches in the NFL. Kyle Pitts, he is not in a lane where you're looking like he cost us the game or he cost us first or second and third down. I think in the past couple years, there's been a lot of quarterback situations where Heineke wasn't doing it. Heineke wasn't getting him the ball like that. Desmond Ritter was, come on, Desmond Ritter, And I think with the connection that Penix has with Kyle Pitts, you can see more of consistency with those two, right? I mean, we saw the Washington game whenever Kyle Pitts, was open and he can get the ball to him. He did what he could, the best of his ability. That touchdown in Washington was great. Kirk Cousins was definitely getting the ball to Kyle Pitts. We saw that. But you got to scheme him up. You got to scheme him up the right way. I mean, a lot of these passes, too, as well, that I saw from Kyle Pitts' highlights that he posted on his page a couple of days ago. That man was open. And Kyle Pitts, I mean, he almost hit 1,000 yards last year. Well, let me go back to it. Kyle Pitts, go back to it. 88 receptions out of 118 targets last year. Year before that, 47 out of 74. The year before that, 53 out of 90. Now, that second year, I think that's when he was playing when he was injured. 28 out of 59. Kyle Pitts, 88 receptions out of 118 targets last year for 928 yards and 5 TDs. And we remember that Bucs game. Pitts ain't that bad. Pitts is not that bad now. I mean, going to the offense that we had last year with the amount of injuries, with the quarterback change, with the offensive coordinator that we had, I mean, we're not just going to throw the blame on Kyle Pitts, Miles. Like, he did what he can do to the best of his ability, right? Now, I'm not saying Kyle Pitts wasn't, he just, he the GOAT. But I saw Kyle Pitts at times where I was like, why ain't Zach Robinson scheming up Kyle more? Like, why only the Bucs game? Why only certain games? And we can go over, some of his single game stats. It's going to take a little bit of time here. But I see what you're saying, Ma. I think I know what route you're going on. Look at the list of the 100 free agents posted today and the review on Kyle Pitts. I definitely will check that out, man. I definitely will check that out. Big shout out to Ma in the chat, man. We love to include everybody, right? We do love including everybody. That's what One Time for the Fan is about, And I don't get offended at all from your opinion about Kyle Pitts and everything. I'm not the Falcons organization, right? I can say get rid of I'm gonna throw a name out there. I can say get rid of Nathan Carter. And the Falcons say they keep Nathan Carter. All right, what am I finna do? We're gonna there and email the Falcons and say, give me back my season tickets. I ain't finna do all that. It's about having respect for the fans, having respect for the game, and listen to what everybody say. Right? Big shout out to Miles. He said, I do love listening to you and your shows. You're very respectful at handling disagreement. I'm all the way. T Will's like the same way too as well. Carrie's like that too as well. We just love talking Falcons football, man. Look, let's get to the questions from the chat, man. Let's just wrap it up with a couple questions from the chat. See Marcus coming. I'm going to run through some of these comments. If y'all have any questions, man, Winston Thornton, man, make sure y'all go out and check out Winston Thornton's channel too as well. Content creator, talking Falcons football out here in the community. So big shout out to Winston Thornton, man. Make sure y'all head over there. Big Low was in the chat earlier too as well. Georgia, Texas boy talking Falcons too as well. A lot of content creators are live and active from time to time. So make sure y'all check them out and just be ready for when this season starts. You see Winston Thornton's in the chat here talking Falcons football. So big shout out to everybody who loves to talk about the Atlanta Falcons, man, because it's the offseason. We're having a good time, right? We got a couple minutes to answer some of these questions, man. So if y'all got any questions for One Time for the Fan about the Atlanta Falcons, about One Time for the Fan, I remember Edgewise, you asked that question earlier. Let me see if I can get to it. Edgewise. Let's see. It was around here. Edgewise. Here it is. HY said, all jokes aside, though, what is the situation for the QB for y'all? I think the Falcons, from what Matt Ryan was saying, they're going to put everything in place to have Michael Penix ready to go. Now, one thing I can say is we don't know the timeline of Michael Penix, right? We don't necessarily know it. They are speculating it could be week 1 for him to be out there with the Atlanta Falcons. But the one thing I do know when it comes to offseason, do they want to sit there and waste their training camp and their OTAs and their going through the plays and the open to the public practice to everybody without your starting guy in there? Because you bring in another quarterback, it's time to get things rolling. I'm trying to work. Think about it. Y'all put yourselves as a new head coach, right? I'm trying to work on drawing up plays schematically and doing certain things with the route running with the receivers and even the off-season workouts with the players and the quarterbacks and stuff. And I don't have my guy there. He's injured. He's going through rehab. And if he is not ready in July, if he's not ready in August, if he's not ready September, then we have a situation in our hands that fans are going to be worried about. That's where these conversations come in when it is, what is the shift of bringing in a veteran? I saw the other day at ESPN talking about, can Kyler Murray lift the Atlanta Falcons? Kyler Murray? The other day I saw Kalashi, it's like a prize betting app, I think it is, or a picks betting app. They said that Tua Tagovailoa could be here in Atlanta. I saw Mark Zeno today tweet out from what Bro Talk was saying that Jimmy Garoppolo could be a name. Some fans were saying trade for Mac Jones. That's why fans are talking about these things, because we are unsure of the timeline. Now, if they said that, hey, Michael Penix is going to be good to go June 1st tomorrow morning, there it is. Question answered. But I, for one, do not know. And I just want to win. People are saying go get Joe Flacco. Other teams out there need bridge quarterbacks. Some people say go get Jacoby Brissett. You got to trade for Jacoby Brissett. Do these teams make these moves to help keep what's needed in that locker room going? Because our starting guy, we don't know the timetable. Now, I'll tell you this. I'm sure Matt Ryan knows the timetable. I'm sure Jeff Ulbrich knows the timetable. I'm sure Kevin Stefanski knows the timetable. But we as fans don't know. We're speculating that 9 to 11 months after the injury and what the doctors are saying and all that. We just don't know. We just got to wait and see. AR Swish says, the Falcons don't win the division this year. Is it time for major changes? Well, when it goes to major changes, what major changes are we looking at? Right? What are the major changes? We're not going to fire Stefanski. Right? We're not going to fire Matt Ryan. Right? What would the major changes be? Ian Cunningham's not going to lose his job. I think you have to sit back and look at a 9-year drought if we don't win the division this year. Now, here's another thing. If we don't win the division, but we make a wild card game, or if we just have a losing record. Because having a losing record means, oh, this is tough, man. It's time to go back and build from within again. We got to look at ourselves mentally and say, what did we do wrong? Is it coaching? Is it the players? Is it the offensive coordinator? Is it the defensive coordinator? Do we give up a bunch of yards every single game and couldn't stop the run? Now, that's things that happens that I think fans can talk about, in the offseason when that time happens. But for right now, I think everybody's gearing up. Panther fans, Saints fans, Bucks fans, I think people are gearing up that when you have a new head coach in the building, you're expecting to have a turnaround. And I've talked to my friends who are Saints fans. I've talked to my friends who are in Tampa Bay. And they looking at this team like, man, Kevin Stefanski ain't no bad coach. He was just in a bad environment. So you got him here with Atlanta now, who's been on the brink of making the playoffs and winning the division almost. And we down to week 15, 16, 17 with these Falcons. What Waterboy say, blood pressure birds, it's not just in the game. It's damn near the season. We get down to the last couple games where we're like, all right, well, to make the playoffs, this team has to lose. And okay, the Bucks have to lose this game, and man, we get down to it. So I think that the Falcons do have a big chance this year of winning the division. And when they get that opportunity, we ain't got to talk about no off-season changes, man. We just don't have to talk about it. Quentin Lavender says, Jack, does Tommy Reese cause the plays this whole season? I think when it comes to Tommy Reese, Matt Ryan and the crew, they allowed Kevin Stefanski to bring this guy in after, interviewing other people and, of course, looking around the league and deciding that Tommy Reese is a buddy of Kevin Stefanski. Buddy of Kevin Stefanski. If Kevin trusts this guy to call the plays this season, let's hope it's not a Zach Robinson thing. You have to utilize your weapons, the players, the right way. I think Kevin Stefanski is going to tell Tommy Reese what he wants, what worked in Cleveland that we can use in Atlanta with better options, with better players, right? What worked in Cleveland to where we were moving the chains. We were getting down the field. We were scoring touchdowns because the Falcons with Zach Robinson were doing it last year when fans didn't want Zach Robinson. So I think we need to give Tommy Reese the benefit of a doubt right now that if Matt Ryan sat in meetings with him already and Kevin Stefanski's been in meetings with him already, that he does get the opportunity to call plays all season. Cleveland was a busted organization from the front office staff to the coaches, Cleveland, the roster too as well. It was a bad organization. And Stefanski, I can see making those type of moves because you don't have a Bijan out there. You don't have a Drake London out there. You don't have even some of a Chris Lindstrom. You don't have some of these players that can help you, keep the quarterback safe and protect the pocket and get the ball out, on the first look, second look, third read. Zach Robinson did a lot of check downs and a lot of just quick, get it to Bijan. I think Kevin's going to take advantage of what Bijan can do physically on the field, but not overuse Bijan. Put Bijan in situations where we got the first down from 1st and 10 to 1st and 10. That's what I want to see these Falcons do this year, right? And that's why keeping Tyler is so important because we need weapons. The Browns didn't have weapons, but Tommy Reese, to call plays this whole entire season, you got the players to do it, bro. If they decide on keeping Pitts, you got the players to do it. Drake London. I ain't even talking about the wide receiver 2, 3, and 4 because I don't know who they are. But I know if Tommy Reese is in there, like, this is what I can do with Bijan. Kevin Stefanski is going to be over there like, all right, we're doing this. You're going to be calling the plays, and I'm going to make the overall decision. But if you draw up the right plays that we're looking to score 20-plus points a game, we're going to make it harder for these defenses out here to keep up with us. Jeff Obert's going to do his job. We've seen that. We got to add to that defense. We've seen that. But Tommy Reese, I do think calls plays this whole season. He has the team to help him get out there and be better as a play caller. And we've seen it with Ben Johnson. We've seen it with Billy what's the guy from Houston Texans? Billy Sluick. We see it with Eric Bieniemy. When you have these coaches, when you have these players to help the coaches out and make it much easier, it makes their job easier. I mean, Zach Robinson just took a damn offensive coordinator job with the Bucks. I thought he was going back to college. It does make their job a little bit easier. We have the weapons for it. I see fans in here talking Falcons. Look, another Panthers fan. Nasty said, "Go Panthers." Big shout out to Nasty in the chat, man. Hey, if you want to come in here and rep the Panthers, man, just be respectful. But it's a Falcon podcast, my brother. It's a Falcon podcast. Little brother ain't finna get the advantage on us today. You did last season, but you ain't going to get the advantage with us today. Marcus said, do you believe we can get the CB out of Cleveland or draft a bona fide cornerback out of the draft? That's the one thing about it when it comes to the cornerback position. A.J. Terrell is there. looking at the contracts, unless something else gets washed or whatever they're getting ready to run back, looks like Mike Hughes is going to be there. You got to resign D. Alford. Team Glow. We've been yelling Team Glow for a minute since Team Glow was fighting for a 1-year deal as an undrafted free agent. D. Alford know us. He know me like a good brother. I've been yelling D. Alford to be on this Falcon team for years. I'm going to continue doing it because every year he has just progressed and done great things. And last year, D. Alford was going crazy. You got to keep D. Alford. So that's your 3. You got 3 corners now. You got to keep Kobe Bryant. That's 4 corners now. Honestly, when Billy Bowman come back, that's your 5th corner. C.J. Henderson did a good job to step in for some of the injured players we had last year. That's 6 corners. Clark Phillips is still on the roster. Remember Clark Phillips? He's still here. So can Clark Phillips be a guy that can elevate and get to the next level? Because everybody loved when Clark Phillips was coming out. All these dudes had some solid college careers. So we remember the stats and the all-pro this and, first team this. But some of these guys got banged up too. So do the Falcons want to go get a corner in the draft or go get a corner in the free agency? And who does he replace? But my 1, 2, and 3, AJ Terrell, is looking like Mike Hughes will be back. And you got to keep D. Alford. D. Alford has shown up and shown out. Now, I told D. Alford, go get the bag. The Falcons need to be paying you. That 1-year deal stuff is out the door. And people talking about, I think we need to see D. Alford give us 1 more year before we give him an extension long term. Man, D. Alford has balled out like crazy. I saw people apologizing to D. Alford. I said, man, D. Alford, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to say that about you the year before, bro. I'm sorry, dog. Nah, man. D. Alford been balling, bro. Y'all don't know his work ethic. I don't know if y'all follow him online or offline. I've talked to D personally, man. That dude works hard. Go look at his page. He probably just posted some more training stuff that he's been doing in the offseason. He looks quicker. He looks faster. He looks more flashy playing cornerback. He's looked like he bulked up a little bit in the weight room too as well. D. Alford was making tackles, pass deflections, knockdown, sacks, interceptions. How do you not look at that and keep that? How do you say, oh, no, you know what? We'll take a shot at another guy in the draft. You got the money for D. He's not going to be expensive. Now, that ain't a shot to you, D. I fuck with you. You're the homie. But that's not a shot to D. But he's going to be in a market of where the Falcons can put the D on the table first before any other team. Keep D. Alford in the building. And C.J. Henderson is a guy that you might want to bring back as well. C.J. Henderson was a first round pick a couple years ago. He got over here and had to fight to keep the roster spot going. But players went down. C.J. Henderson stepped up. And to the last couple games, C.J. Henderson did a decent job. Now, maybe on that role, you may go and get another cornerback out of the draft, or maybe go look at the young man. Denzel Ward, that's going to be some bread. That's some bread. But you can get a draft cornerback 3rd, 4th round. I can't wait till we do our draft board, man, because there's going to be so many things and options the Falcons can look at when they get to that war room. Because we're about, less than 2 months away from the draft. We're less than, I think, 30 days away from free agency open. It's about to go down. We're going to be finding out a lot. AJ Terrell, Mike Hughes, D. Alford, Billy Bowman coming back, Kobe Bryant, C.J. Henderson, Clark Phillips. There's going to be some camp competition battles. But lock D. Alford in for a 2 to 3 year deal. It ain't going to be expensive like that. He ain't asking for no $100 million, man. And D. Alford's been balling out, man. So big shout out to everybody here in the chat, man. It's talking Falcons football, man. So many of y'all in here today having a great time with me, man. Big shout out to Miss Carrie. Big shout out to T. Will, who was in the chat too as well. Don't forget, they got a podcast tonight at 6:30. The Eric, Terry, and Carrie show. It's going to be on YouTube for my ATL Sports 1. Make sure y'all check that out too as well. But it's been a great time, man, talking with a lot of you all. don't want to take up too much of y'all day. A pop-up podcast that we can have fun like this is very interesting because everybody's been enjoying it, having a good day. I'd even get to the new uniforms update. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. We'll bring up some more of the Jason La Canfora, whatever guy's name is, who mentioned the Michael Penix information. He put an article out earlier saying some things about Penix. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. Wednesday night at 8, man, we back. But it's just great to have everybody in here talking Falcons football, the content creators, the fans, the season ticket holders, people who respect not only one time, but the Atlanta Falcons on all different types of levels, even fans from different organizations who's jumping in here talking Falcons football. We all just here talking football. Falcon fans, we here talking Falcons football. But for everybody else who's outside the Falcons organization, man, we just here talking football. We ain't doing nothing wrong. We ain't hurt nobody, man. So big shout out to everybody in here, man. I'm going to clip some of this stuff to put out on the Instagram page. So make sure y'all head over to the Instagram page. Hit that follow button if y'all got Instagram. We post a lot over there too as well. And we've been, a little laid back on the IG. It's the off season, but we about to get into it like real good now because we're a couple days away from this free agency open. Kyle Pitts information just dropped today too as well. So please, Falcon fans, head on over there and hit that follow button. YouTube, man, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, man. Especially the like button too as well. So if you're in here, you're watching, you had a good day, you enjoyed it, you hit the like button, man. Just tap the like button one time for the one time. And we got some good news coming out too as well, man. I know a lot of y'all have been enjoying what we've been saying here on the channel and some of the things that we've said when it comes to one time for the one time and one time for the fan, from the fan, for the fan, stuff like that. Man, we got some merch we're gonna drop this summer, man. We're gonna drop some merch and we're gonna get the people what they want, man. That conversation with T Will has inspired me to take it to the next level. You know what I'm saying? A lot of content that we're gonna be doing away from going live. But yes, man, we're gonna be dropping some merch this summer, man. It ain't gonna be something too crazy, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna have like a whole Macy's catalog for y'all ass, nothing like that. We're gonna drop a couple shirts, you know what I'm saying? So if anybody wants to invest in the one time for the fan and what we got going on over here, definitely pick up a shirt. It ain't gonna be expensive either. I ain't finna charge y'all no $200 for no damn Gildan shirt or none of that. No Hanes shirt with no one time on it. We're going to try to keep the best price available. Of course, shipping and handling, we're going to take care of that too as well. Make sure that it's in the best price that we can find. Whoever is going to be working with us to make sure we get it out to everybody. What's up, bro? You good? Yeah. My kids just got home too, so I'm about to go deal with them. But yeah, man, one time for the fan merch, man, dropping this summer. Should be out by training camp, by open to the public camp. So if any fans, say, hey, man, I just bought a shirt, man. I'm going to be at camp on Thursday. You going to be there? Yeah, I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be slinging them shirts out the trunk like Master P, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like them old body days, man. Like we slinging CD like UGK, man. But yeah, it's going down in a major way. But yeah, definitely want to follow us on Instagram. If you guys have an IG, it's right there on the page. YouTube, you guys know the YouTube channel is right there at the bottom. Keep scrolling across. One time for the fan, on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the share button, send it to your friends, your Falcon friends, send it to your Falcons family. Let them know whenever we go live in a positive way for this team. If y'all got some things I want to go back and clip, y'all want to go back and screenshot, y'all want to go back and share amongst yourselves on social media, get some talking points amongst your friends, go right ahead. We ain't, putting out something on the net that we're scared to say. Make sure if y'all got Twitter, go follow us on Twitter too as well. One time for the fan. And tag D Alford. I would say it all the time. Tag D Alford. Tell him. Let me see if I get it right here. Tell D Alford. Where you at, D? Let me get this. Tell D Alford. Quit running from me on this 2K. Quit running for me on this Madden, bro. You got lucky last time, little bro. Nah, but shout out D Offer, man. That's the homie. Big shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Big shout out to Miss Carrie. Big shout out to Terry. Big shout out to everybody who's out there ripping one time in the Falcons. We're gonna be back Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, Amazon Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Hit the follows, hit the likes, tell your people about it. And we can't wait to get back Wednesday night, man, because we're going to do the same thing we did tonight. We had a good time talking about the Atlanta Falcons. And with that being said, man,